Hello, and welcome to a slightly different, kind of interesting little experiment that I'm doing. A new kind of video in a new format. So before I get started on this one, I kind of feel like it's necessary to give you my credentials, just so you know that I'm not, like, completely talking out my butt. So I studied film and television production for 3 years at the University of Westminster. I graduated in 2017, and since then I've been making short films of my own, some of which you can find on this channel, some of which people seem to like. I've also been acting in some way or another for most of my life. I went to Stagecoach as a kid. I did some Shakespeare stuff as a teenager. I was in musicals in school. I'm currently studying acting for the screen in a year-long Meisner course. That being said, even though I have all of this experience, I've never really directed anything over 10 minutes. So almost all of my experience comes from, like, working on very short stuff. So without further ado, I think I've spent long enough talking about how insecure I am about my ability to actually make this video. Let's talk about a few little things that I would change about Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Now, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, I think, is probably the best of the Harry Potter films. Maybe? It's the first film that feels like a sort of objectively good piece of art. A lot of work is put into character and visual storytelling, and it gives the whole series a little bit of a gothic edge, which the other films build on. So I love this film, and I'm probably never going to make anything this good, but as a director, I do see some little things that I just look at and go, I bet the director of this wishes they could change that. The first one is actually something that I'm not 100% sure I would change. Sorry to instantly undermine the concept of the video. Early on in the film, there's a scene where we meet the Dementors for the first time, and there's a wonderful, wonderful shot, which I absolutely adore, of the ice that the Dementors bring with them spreading across the window and freezing a bottle of water. And part of what makes that shot work is that Ron's hand is on the glass at the time. And that's entirely crucial for the shot, because you need to start on Ron, move to his hand, move across the glass with the ice to the bottle of water. You need all of those points of reference to make the shot fit together. Unfortunately, kind of forcing this to happen means that Ron's hand is on the glass from maybe earlier than it should have been. If you watch the lead up to this shot knowing that this shot's coming, it's really obvious that the director has just told Rupert Grint, put your hand on the window and then take it off when I say you can take it off. Honestly, I think you can feel that he wants to move his hand and that it's not natural for his hand to be there through the entirety of the scene. And it just feels off. But I will be honest, the shot that comes from that, the following of the ice spreading across the glass, is great. I don't know if removing the awkwardness of Ron sort of sticking his hand to the glass, I don't know if that's worth it, if it means losing the shot of the ice. So Alfonso, I'm going to let you get away with this one. So the next one's another performance-related issue, and I think it's probably worth saying at this point that this film was a really massive step up in the Harry Potter series for the performances of the child actors. However, unfortunately, all of this means that when little bits of bad acting happen, they stick out like a sore thumb.
He was their friend!
Now, I'm by no means saying that Daniel Radcliffe is a bad actor. He's great, and he does a wonderful job in the entirety of the rest of the film. Which makes me think that this moment of bad performance wasn't entirely his fault. I feel as though there was probably a directorial decision made that this was the moment where we see Harry get angry. And the director really wanted Daniel Radcliffe to just shout at this moment. Shout in super, super angry, shouty mode.
He was their friend!
And as someone who has some acting experience, it's difficult to do that convincingly if it doesn't feel right. So Daniel Radcliffe didn't feel in the right place to give this bit of performance that the director wanted. The director's job at this point is either to find a different way that the performance could work, or to help the actor get to that place. Unfortunately, it looks like none of those were actually done. So instead we get...
He was their friend!
a slightly less than authentic performance. Let's be completely honest about this though. It's worth considering how films like this have a lot of pressure on them. This was likely the only opportunity they had to film that scene, and it may just not have been feasible to make any major changes. They just needed to go in, get the shots, and go out again. So I understand why it wasn't better, but I just think it could have been. Now, the final thing I want to talk about is not actually a thing that was done wrong, just a thing that I think could have added a little something. There's a scene about 3/4 of the way through where Harry and Sirius Black are being attacked by Dementors.
Expecto Patronum!
I'm going to take a little bit of a tangent here. I'm just going to talk about my favourite TV show of all time and just a little moment early in the first season of it. So in Steven Universe is a 13-year-old child who has magical powers inherited from his now deceased mother. His father has only ever had the one child, he's not remarried, and he doesn't really have too many friends. Steven has magical powers that are defensive in nature, and all of his magical companions, the Crystal Gems, have weapons and magical abilities that are offensive in nature. So when the Crystal Gems come up against an enemy that requires defensive tactics, and they send Steven away, Steven has to convince his father to let him go back and protect his friends.
Dad, please. I have to go back. I have to. They don't have my shield. Do you understand?
This is how his father responds.
Yeah, okay. Just be careful, or I'm gonna run fresh out of family.
Doesn't that just break your damn heart? So bringing it back to the scene in The Prisoner of Azkaban, I would have added just one line here. I would have had Harry say, "Please, he's all I have left." At this point, Harry's lost his family. He knows that his parents are dead. He knows that there's no one else who loves him the way that his parents could have loved him. And whilst he's made a sort of surrogate family for himself at Hogwarts, they've been growing apart this year. When things go south at the Dursleys in film 2, Ron comes to rescue him. Film 3, he has to rescue himself.
Yeah? Try me.
Similarly, Ron and Hermione just go off to Hogsmeade without him, leaving Harry all alone in the school grounds. Ron and Hermione may be close friends, but they're never going to replace his family. The one person who could replace his family is the one person who's left of his family, Sirius Black. Not only does it make this moment just a little bit more powerful, but it also slightly justifies when Harry wakes up thinking that he just saw his father.
I saw my dad.
If he says this line, you can tell that when Sirius nearly dies, what Harry's thinking about is his family. Similarly, it heightens the emotional impact in the time travel sequence where we realise that the person who really cast the spell is Harry himself. Adding this line improves Harry's character arc because it makes us realise that he didn't need Sirius Black. He didn't need his father to protect him. He could protect himself. Sirius Black wasn't all he had left. So yeah, let me know if there's any other moments from this film that you would like to change. This has just been a little bit of an interesting experiment. I don't know if I'm going to do any more of these, but if you like the format, do let me know in the comments, and I'll see if I can make a few more of them, because so far I'm having fun. We'll see how I feel once I've got to editing. If you like this video, remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that little notification bell, do all the things that the algorithm wants you to do to make me popular, because that'll be really useful for me. Really useful. Thanks.